It's the early 1980s, and a group of young students and alumni of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, walk into a Las Vegas casino. But they're not here to gamble aimlessly. They're here to win, and win big. Everyone believes blackjack is a game of chance, but these brilliant minds know better. Armed with mathematical prowess and a revolutionary card-counting technique called the Big Player System, they're about to challenge the status quo of the gambling world. This isn't just a game. It's a meticulously crafted plan that started on the MIT campus. Picture this: students who excel in math and science by day, and by night, they're perfecting a strategy to take down casinos. It's a time when most of their peers are caught up in typical college life. But these students are experimenting with something far more lucrative. They're about to embark on a journey that will see them beat the odds and rake in millions, all while staying within the bounds of the law. It all began in the late 1970s, inside the walls of MIT's Burton Connor House, where a group of 6 brilliant students set out to conquer the blackjack tables. These weren't just ordinary students hoping to strike it rich by chance. They were analytical masterminds, equipped with the skills to outthink and outplay the casual gambler. The initial MIT Blackjack Team was small but formidable, consisting of only a few players who were incredibly effective. Among them, the most notable was J.P. Masser, a sharp MIT student with an insatiable curiosity. Masser's interest in blackjack was picked after hearing friends talk about the potential of card counting. Their insights came from How to Gamble If You Must, an MIT course delving into probability, statistics, and the intricacies of casino games, particularly blackjack. Driven by his newfound knowledge and a passion for beating the odds, Masser and his teammates embarked on a journey that would soon turn the gambling world upside down. Blackjack is one of the few games you can actually beat through skill rather than with luck, since it relies on fixed probabilities and the potential to predict outcomes using card counting. Masser would later dive into the study of card counting and other advantageous gambling strategies with the same intensity he applied to his academic pursuits. He soon discovered that a player could win more hands than they would lose with enough hands willing to signal others about their hands. To help you understand, card counting is a system where players assign values to cards dealt in a game. By keeping track of the cards in play, they can estimate the ratio of high to low value cards left in a deck. The high-low count is one of the most commonly used card counting systems. In this system, players assign a value of +1, 0, or -1 to each card dealt. Specifically, cards with values from 2 to 6 are assigned a value of +1. Cards from 7 to 9 are assigned a value of 0, and tens, face cards, Jack, Queen, King, and aces are assigned a value of -1. By continuously adding these values together, players maintain a running count, representing the sum of the values of the cards that have been dealt with so far. The significance of the running count lies in its ability to indicate the composition of the remaining deck. A higher positive running count suggests that more high-value cards, tens, face cards, and aces, are left in the deck, which is favorable for the player. Usually, high-value cards increase the chances of hitting a blackjack, an ace, and a 10 value card, which pays out at higher odds and can also increase the likelihood that the dealer will bust. Conversely, a negative running count indicates a deck rich in low-value cards, which is advantageous for the dealer. While card counting is not illegal, casinos are highly averse to the practice because it undermines their built-in house edge. To combat card counters, casinos employ a variety of countermeasures. These can include increasing the number of decks in play, frequently shuffling to disrupt the count, and using advanced surveillance techniques to monitor players' behavior. If a player is suspected of card counting, the casino may ask them to leave, ban them from the premises, or implement measures to make counting more difficult. Masser and his friends decided to put into practice what they had learned. They took a trip to Atlantic City during spring break, intending to break the casino at their game. Unfortunately, the venture didn't go as planned. Despite their preparation, the group failed woefully, losing more money than anticipated. Disheartened by their poor performance and unexpected setbacks, the team disbanded. Some members were so discouraged that they vowed never to gamble again. However, somehow, some original members remained intrigued by the potential of card counting. Chief among them was J.P. Masser and his friend Jonathan. Unlike their peers, Masser and Jonathan were determined to refine their techniques and improve their skills. They believed in the underlying mathematical principles guiding the blackjack game and were convinced they could succeed with better practice and refinement. To further their ambitions, Masser and Jonathan decided to share their knowledge and recruit new team members from the MIT student body. They designed a comprehensive blackjack course, intending to educate and train others in the art of card counting. They sent out flyers and advertisements across the campus, seeking students who were not only mathematically inclined, but also interested in gambling. It was one of the adverts that caught the attention of a professional blackjack player named Dave. He decided to join forces with the team. His professional experience and advanced skills in blackjack complemented the academic rigor and fresh perspectives brought by the students. In late November 1979, Dave became an important member of the group, bringing with him a wealth of knowledge and practical insights. With Dave's expertise and renewed commitment of Masser and Jonathan, the team was prepared to embark on a new chapter, combining their strengths and blending theoretical knowledge and real-world experience. The partnership marked the beginning of a more structured and strategic approach to card counting, setting the stage for the team's future successes. Together, they developed sophisticated strategies, practiced relentlessly, and meticulously planned their casino visits. Dave offered to sponsor a group trip to Atlantic City. The offer came at a crucial time, as a recent ruling had affirmed the legality of card counting. Rather than outright banning card counters, the ruling allowed casinos to implement various countermeasures to minimize the advantages of card counting. Seizing the opportunity presented by this ruling, the group decided to capitalize on the more lenient environment. They recruited 2 additional players to strengthen their team. With a pooled investment of $5,000, they headed to Atlantic City, determined to turn their theoretical knowledge into practical success. Their efforts paid off well. Through disciplined card counting and strategic betting, they managed to quadruple their initial capital, achieving a remarkable return on investment. Fascinated by this success, they realized they had the potential to win more. Thus, they began recruiting more MIT students to join their ranks. As the team expanded, they played continuously, honing their skills and strategies. Their success throughout 1980 was marked by significant financial gains and growing confidence in their card counting techniques. However, despite these achievements, the group had some internal challenges. One critical issue was the group's lack of cohesion and consistency. They operated more like a loose collective of individuals rather than a well-coordinated team. This lack of structured strategy and quality control sometimes led to inconsistencies in their approach, undermining their overall effectiveness. While each member was skilled, the absence of a unified system meant they could not fully optimize their potential. Recognizing the need for improvement, the group began to focus on developing a more structured and professional approach, as that's the only way they could ensure consistency across all players, sustaining their success and maintaining their edge against the increasingly vigilant casino countermeasures. Going further, in the same year, Masser met Bill Kaplan, a Harvard University graduate with an impressive background in applied mathematics and statistics. Kaplan had earned his BA at Harvard 3 years earlier and was on the verge of enrolling in Harvard Business School. However, his plans took an interesting turn when he decided to defer his admission for a year. During this time, he moved to Las Vegas to form a team of blackjack players utilizing a sophisticated card-counting system he had developed. Kaplan's interest in blackjack was sparked by reading Beat the Dealer, a groundbreaking book by Edward O. Thorpe. Thorpe, often referred to as the godfather of card counting, revolutionized the way blackjack could be played through his mathematical approach. Thorpe's work demonstrated that by adhering to a precise system of card counting, players could statistically gain an edge over the house, effectively turning the tables on the casinos. Armed with this knowledge, Kaplan, who possessed a strong analytical mindset and a deep understanding of probability and statistical analysis, was intrigued by the possibility of beating blackjack. Motivated by Thorpe's theories, he assembled a team in Las Vegas in 1997 to test and refine the card counting strategies outlined in the book. His goal was to validate the theory and generate substantial profits through disciplined play and strategic betting. Earlier, Kaplan's decision to delay his admission to Harvard Business School and pursue a career as a professional gambler was met with mixed reactions from his family. His mother had envisioned a more conventional path for him, likely hoping for a stable and prestigious career following his Harvard education. However, Kaplan's stepfather saw potential in his unconventional choice and was intrigued by Kaplan's confidence and ambition. To assess his skills and perhaps to test the seriousness of his decision, his stepfather challenged him to nightly blackjack games. Using his card-counting techniques, Kaplan consistently beat his stepfather, winning every game for 2 straight weeks. What an impressive display of skill and strategic thinking, his stepfather thought. Then, he was convinced of Kaplan's capabilities and potential for success in the gambling world. Impressed with this performance, Kaplan's stepfather became an advocate for his decision, persuading his mother to support the path he had chosen. With his mother's blessing and support from his stepfather, Kaplan moved to Las Vegas, dedicating an entire year to mastering the intricacies of blackjack and refining his card-counting system. When Kaplan formed his blackjack team, he was running it while attending Harvard Business School. The team thrived under his leadership, and he employed sophisticated strategies and maintained a high level of coordination and discipline. By the time Kaplan graduated in 1980, his team had experienced considerable success in the casinos of Nevada. However, the constant pressure and intensity of the casino environment led to player burnout. Recognizing the need for a change, the team decided to expand their horizons and seek opportunities on the international circuit, where conditions might be more favorable and there could be less competition. During that time, Kaplan played with the $1,000 he received on graduation as the most outstanding scholar athlete in Harvard, and within 9 months, he had turned it into nearly $35,000. Following his sabbatical year in Vegas, his graduation from Harvard, and the eventual splintering of his team, he was still playing blackjack whenever the opportunity arose. One such opportunity presented itself at a Chinese restaurant in Cambridge. It was here that Kaplan met Masser, who overheard Kaplan discussing his blackjack exploits and the challenges he faced. Kaplan recounted how his team members had become too well known in the Las Vegas casinos, making it difficult for them to continue playing there undetected. So, Masser, who was an MIT student at that time, was fascinated by Kaplan's stories and expertise. He saw an opportunity to witness a professional card counter in action. Then he approached Kaplan with a request. Masser asked if he could follow Kaplan's team and observe their play at the blackjack tables in Atlantic City. On the other hand, Kaplan, having recently parted ways with the Las Vegas Blackjack Team due to the unfavorable playing conditions they encountered across Europe and other regions, saw potential in this new opportunity. He agreed to accompany Masser and his team to Atlantic City. To Kaplan, he was not interested in offering guidance, but he was also determined to establish a new blackjack team that he could train and manage with a fresh approach. By watching Masser and his team play, he made some observations. He was impressed by their potential and dedication, but noticed that their strategies were overly complicated and lacked consistency. Each player employed different card counting methods, which made their play inefficient and disjointed. After thoroughly analyzing their gameplay, Kaplan provided detailed feedback to Masser. He suggested several ways to streamline their strategies, emphasizing the need for a unified and simplified card counting system. Kaplan proposed that a standardized method would enhance their efficiency and also improve their overall coordination and effectiveness as a team. Masser was convinced by Kaplan's insights. He then agreed to form a team with him. However, Kaplan had a condition. He insisted that the new team must operate like a business venture, with formal management procedures in place. This structured approach would ensure better organization, accountability, and long-term sustainability. In addition, players on the new team would be required to follow a strict method of play, which would be a prerequisite for any new member trying out for the team. Initially, a couple of the students opposed the idea of being put through a test before they could be approved to play. They believed that their existing knowledge and skills should suffice, and the idea of additional scrutiny was just uncalled for. Moreover, they were averse to the idea of being closely supervised in the casinos and having to fill out detailed reports to prevent any potential misuse of the team's funds. To them, this level of oversight seemed intrusive and unnecessary. However, the moment Kaplan revealed his commitment to the team, the resistance waned. He pulled out the $89,000 he intended to invest in the team, demonstrating his belief in the team's potential and his willingness to back them with considerable resources. This show of confidence and the promise of substantial backing convinced several students to reconsider their stance. Ultimately, a few students agreed to join the team. The final team formed included 10 players, including Kaplan and Masser. The new formation would be known as the MIT Blackjack Team, with Kaplan as manager and trainer in exchange for a portion of the winnings. Kaplan's training routine was thorough and demanding. He introduced the team to his refined card counting system, which was simpler and more effective than the varied methods they'd been using. The training included rigorous simulations of casino environments to prepare the players for real-life conditions. They practiced extensively, honing their skills in controlled settings to ensure they were ready for the high-pressure atmosphere of actual casinos. Furthermore, Kaplan instituted a series of tests to evaluate the players' proficiency in card counting and their ability to work seamlessly as a team. These tests were designed to ensure that every member could perform well under pressure while maintaining accuracy in their counts. The simulations were as close to real casino conditions as possible, complete with distractions and high-stakes scenarios. Now, it's time to hit the casinos. The team's first stake was $89,000, sourced from outside investors and players in the team. On this bank, 10 players, including Masser and Kaplan, played. Within the first 10 weeks of playing, they could double their original stake, and profits per hour were $162.50. These profits were split in proportion to playing hours and computer-simulated win rates, and the players, most of whom were undergraduates, earned approximately $80 an hour. The remaining money was returned to Kaplan and the investors in the original $89,000. The estimated returns these investors received were over 250% annually. The students experienced such widespread success that they started recruiting from colleges nationwide, not just from MIT. They would print flyers for a blackjack class. At another time, they would use the old-fashioned word-of-mouth method to keep things on the low. At its highest point in 1984, the team had 35 players and reportedly had over $350,000 in working capital. By the end of the year, Kaplan was already recognized in many casinos. He couldn't enter a casino without being followed by security, who also kicked out his team members. As a result, he decided to step down, leaving Masser in charge of the team. Between 1979 and 1989, the MIT Blackjack Team ran nothing less than 22 partnerships, with every partnership yielding huge profits. In fact, after paying all expenses, including the winning shares of players and managers, the returns to investors still ranged from 4% to over 300% per year. In 1992, under the advice of Kaplan, who was still watching the team from afar, Masser and another player named John Chang decided to implement a new method of card counting. The three of them, acting as the general partner, formed a Massachusetts limited partnership called Strategic Investments to bankroll the new team. The limited partnership raised $1 million and adopted a method based on Edward Thorp's high-low system. The technique required 3 players: a big player, a controller, and a spotter. The spotter checked when the deck went positive with card counting. The controller then bet small constantly, wasting money and verifying the spotter's count. Once the controller found a positive, he would signal to the big player, who would then make a massive bet and win big. It was wildly successful and led to several huge wins for the team. With the funding, the 3 men subjected smart MIT students to rigorous training, teaching them the art of card counting and gambling free of charge. Then, the new card counters would be sent strategically to unsuspecting casinos. Soon, Sarah McCord, who joined the team in 1983 as an MIT student, was added as a partner. She would later be in charge of training and recruiting West Coast players. Usually, many companies waste thousands of dollars training a person to do a barely adequate job. However, that's not the case with the MIT team, as the team reaped the benefits of its training. Prospective members were subjected to intense scrutiny and training. At first, they would begin their training on MIT's Cambridge campus, then acquire some experience in backroom card games in Boston's Chinatown. Only after proving their mettle would they be inducted into the team. They also would undergo mock casino setups where their card counting skills and stress handling are tested. From there, they work their way up in the team's hierarchy. One such student trained by Strategic Investments was Mike Aponte, then a 22-year-old blackjack hacker from Asia. After his training, he was handed $40,000 in cash to gamble on behalf of the team. As an Asian, Aponte had a big advantage. It's easy to take him for a boy from a rich family. After all, Asians are known to be high rollers, players who gamble big money. His first trial was at a blackjack table in Atlantic City. Within the first 10 minutes of playing, he lost $10,000, but he continued to rely on the team's method that weekend. Ultimately, he could return to college with a net profit of about $25,000. It turned out that it's all part of the strategy employed by the MIT Blackjack Team. The team's job was not only to play perfect blackjack, they also had to deceive casinos into believing that they were losing gamblers like everyone else. As Kaplan later said, there are tens of thousands of people who try to win at the game, but MIT was the only team who really won year over year because we ran it like a business. During this decade, the team grew from 35 to nearly 80 players from 7 different states. They spent their time gambling in Native American casinos across the country, as well as in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Canada, and numerous island casinos. Over the weekends, team members would fly to these gambling hubs, raking in substantial profits. Its largest single win was reported to be around $500,000 during a Super Bowl weekend in 1995. Meanwhile, its largest loss was $130,000. What set the MIT Blackjack Team apart from the simple card counting was their organizational structure and collaborative approach, which increased their winning chances. In other words, players worked together to optimize their betting while minimizing the risk of detection by the casino. In a 2002 interview in Blackjack Forum magazine, Chang reported that in addition to the classic card counting technique, the Blackjack Team also used various shuffle and ace tracking techniques, though their overall results had been best with straight card counting. The team was so successful that it didn't take long for casinos to start catching on and preventing the players from returning. Of course, this method didn't throw the team off too much, as they just continued to recruit new players from the college campuses to replace those who were banned. Eventually, several of the casinos hired private investigators to look into the issue, and they quickly found that most of the students lived around MIT. They decided to obtain an MIT yearbook and added almost all of the images to their databases, making it impossible for the team to continue. In 1993, Strategic Investments paid out its substantial earnings to players and investors and dissolved its partnership. Some members went on to form 2 independent blackjack teams, the Amphibians, led by Semyon Dukac, Katie Lillenkamp and Andy Block, and the Reptiles, led by Mike Aponte, Manilo Lopez, and Wes Atamian. Other members stopped gambling and used their mathematical skills in other fields. One such member is Kaplan. He applied the skills to grow a real estate investment and development company. As for Jeff Ma, another prominent member, he ventured into the tech world. Individual splinter groups tried to continue the legacy of the defunct MIT Blackjack Team, but the golden era of the team had passed. In fact, in 1994, several members of the team were arrested and charged with cheating at gambling. Aponte once fell victim to the arrest. He once took his wife, who was also a member of the MIT team, to the Bahamas to try their luck at the casinos there. Fortunately, they made around $30,000 profit. However, the casino found out they used a card counting technique. They were arrested and jailed. Not only that, their winnings, including the team's money, were confiscated. And that's the end of the couple's gambling escapade for the team. Aponte eventually became the World Series of Blackjack champion, and many people in casinos sought his advice. So by 2000, all of the splinter groups had broken up, and the reign of the MIT Blackjack players came to an end. What contributed to the end of the team? When the MIT Blackjack Team was formed in the late 1970s, most of the casinos didn't have high-tech ways of tracking players. If not, a player like Kaplan would have been easily recognized and banned. This lack of sophisticated technology made it difficult for casinos to keep track of everyone, especially a large team of students. But as technologies advanced, casinos started employing advanced shuffle machines and facial recognition software, making it almost impossible to beat the tables. Another issue the team ran into was related to its numerical strength. As it grew, the number of people who knew about it also grew, and more ideas and techniques were involved, making it too difficult to control. Also, after the group split in 1994, the teams lost the direction of Kaplan and Masser, who had long been the voice of reason for the team as professional blackjack players. And even though the smaller teams could record mild success, well, even the best heists wouldn't last forever. Although the total amount of money the MIT Blackjack Team won was not publicly disclosed, some sources suggest it could be over $10 million. Another source pegged their total winnings at $57 million. Nevertheless, the MIT Blackjack Team's exploits are a testament to the power of organized strategy, discipline, and collaboration. Beyond casino floors, the team's story-inspired books like Bringing Down the House by Ben Mesrich, television specials, and notably the 2008 movie 21 starring Kevin Spacey. And that's the end of the story of the MIT Blackjack Team, which remains a legendary chapter in the history of casino gambling. So what do you think about the MIT Blackjack Team and their exploits? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Also, ring the notification bell for more similar videos.